So before we start roll call today, I got something I want to talk to you about. But first, I see we have some newly graduated officers this morning. I want to say I'm glad to see you. It's great to see some fresh young faces that's eager to get out there and work. So we've suffered some losses over the last 2 years. Sergeant Marcus Rivers, Officer Shane West, and Officer Chris Honley, and others, all killed in the line of duty. Understaffed and overworked. Our officers have continuously performed above and beyond the call of duty. But yet the community still is slow to trust us or to give us the support that we need to make a difference in this precinct. Some even say that we're on the other side of the law. They think we're terrorists. They don't think we're the peacekeepers. But I say we're the peacemakers. And in that, we diffuse volatile situations instead of instigating them. See, you new officers will soon understand that it is extremely difficult to judge indiscriminately, just as a lot of us have. I'll tell you first and foremost that understanding and temperance are the keys to creating peace in this precinct. This community is yours just as much as it is theirs. Serve in it. Watch over it. Protect it. And most importantly, be safe out there. Now, attention to roll call.
Wow, wasn't that heavy, you guys? And I'm so glad that I was able to come across that monologue for my next guest because I think that not only does that speech resonate with so many of us when it comes to the relationship between the community as a whole and law enforcement and how it tends to taint images on both sides. So I'm looking forward to having that discussion with him because not only because of that piece and what it represents, but I think it also resonates with him as a mentor, as a motivational speaker. And you could kind of, I mean, that was kind of natural. Like, you can't tell that he's acting because I think that this is something that is like innate. He has that innate ability to reach an audience. And I can only imagine the amount of groups and so many people that he was able to reach just based off his delivery of his message alone. So I'm really looking forward to having this discussion with our next guest. He's a motivational speaker, mentor, musician, and actor. And I just want to make sure that I have my bra on so I could be ready to present to you and introduce to others Jeff Stewart Jr. Here we go. And there he is, Mr. Jeff Stewart Jr. in the building. Yes, I'm so glad that he's here with us. Hey, Tukes, thank you for being here. So when you, before I get to the beginning stages of your journey itself, I just wanted to know how did that monologue resonate with you personally?
Personally, it resonated to me. First of all, hey, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Personally, that resonated with me in real life. So a lot of people don't know, but I am a police officer. I was an officer for 23 years.
Wow.
And so it does resonate. So I know both sides of trying to connect with the community and the community not having faith or trust in you. So that was a piece. Once it was given to me, I was like, yo, this is home.
Yes, I can imagine.
I got it.
Yes, and no, you did. I mean, you did. You did it. Where did that? What was that from? Like, what was what particular project was that from?
So that was from a project in Woodbridge, Virginia. It was an independent project, a short, and it was called. I forget the name of it. I'm sorry.
It'll come to you. It'll probably come to you during, because and I'll tell you, I think that should be played in a lot of the different like trainings and different types of organizations. That should be played. Like that should be like one of the go-to videos as a blueprint. Kind of set the tone, like I said, to kind of bridge the gap. So yeah, but I really wanted to commend you for the amazing job that you've done with that. Because not everyone can deliver the message with such conviction. So I really do appreciate that. I was glad I was able to play that for the people. All right. So, and thank you for letting me know that you was a police officer. I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah. So, but
a lot of people don't.
Yeah. Okay. And why is that, Jeff? Why you trying to keep that hidden? Why you don't want people to know?
So I think it's, and it's not that I don't want people to know. It's okay for people to know. I'm so much more than a police officer, and most of the time when people find out you're a police officer, they automatically put you in a box. They automatically put you in a box. So it's like I'm so much more than a police officer. So I don't like to lead with that. Like, hey, I'm a police officer.
Right. Yeah. So let me also ask you before we get more into this, are you live now on your IG? Are you able to get live? Are you able to go live?
I don't think I was able to go live.
Really?
Because it wasn't coming up on my.
Yeah, because I see the check mark. I see a green check mark and everything on our end. Can you
And I went to my. Let me go to my feed and see if it's coming.
Yes. Can you please let us know if whoever is following Jeff Stewart right now, can you let him know whether or not you're able to see him on Instagram Live? And hey, Lady Sparkles, thank you for being here. Yeah. So can you let him know, please, if you don't see like the comment section or anything? You don't see.
Let me refresh it. I might need to refresh.
Yeah, so while he's doing that, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Let me just greet you. And thank you so much for being a part of this interview. And I'm sure that you're going to, receive so much of gems from this. And whoever is in the chat or in the bushes, or those who might decide to watch the replay, wherever you are, thank you for your support. Please do my friend here, Lady Sparkle says, make sure you love, comment. Now, I like that love, love and like, comment, share, subscribe to this channel, and also subscribe to Jeff Stewart as well, and support his platform. I have his information in the description box as well. So make sure you give support to both our platforms. And I thank you so much for being in the building as well. So I want to make sure that Jeff is able to stream on his end as well. So that's what I want to, make sure before we go into the nitty gritty of this. I want to make sure that, that his fan base, his followers are able to be tied in as well. So whether it's on this platform, Faith is a Substance, or Jeff Stewart Jr., or Jeff Stewart Speaks on Instagram, want to make sure that everyone is tied into this. So I just hope that everyone had a good day today. I'm just, getting, I just got off work not too long ago, the workload, like in the beginning of the week is kind of busy, but then, towards the end.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you're not doing it. Cause like I said, it's so weird. Cause I have a check mark on my end, saying that, that we're linked, but yeah, I'm sorry that you're not able to because I always like for those who have
Yeah,
a platform.
I see it on my end too. Say you we are.
Yeah, so you, oh, you do see something.
The key.
Yeah, yeah, and that you know you kind of I'm sorry, you said what about the key? Yeah, Jeff. And also, I would just want to
Yeah,
just
can you hear
pardon
me?
yeah, just pardon our technical issues in advance, because it just seemed like there's some like lagging here and there, and then like Jeff, she's kind of going in and out, kind of freezing up because you know how internet is sometimes, and YouTube has been acting up lately. So just please pardon, in advance, if we have any technical issues when it comes to the audio and visual. Um, Please don't charge it to our hearts, you guys. So you just want to do what we can to get to talk to you guys today. So please make sure you bear with us as we do this. Because again, a lot of times these features, even though it is giving us a platform to give content, but it's not always user friendly. So just please bear with us. I appreciate you guys being here, and I also still appreciate your support. But all right, Jeff, we could just move forward. Hey, Miss Stevie, Miss Stevie. I always got to go octave higher when I greet Miss Stevie. Yeah, thank you for being in the building. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Stevie, for being here. But Jeff, we're just good to get started. I don't want hold anybody up, but like I said, well, just come, like, if you can't come on Jeff's platform, I got the link, just come to my YouTube channel. We're still here. If you can't go to one platform, you come to the other. Just come right onto the YouTube space and just greet us there and just meet us there. Don't let this be an excuse. You can still support Jeff either way. All right. You still support him. So yes, Jeff. So I want to start from the humble beginnings before you became these multi hyphenated personas, and I want to kind of always like to start at the beginning. Where all started for you, your childhood, and, two-parent household, single parent household, brothers, sisters. I want to see what the upbringing was like. Did you have like the experience of humble beginnings where you had to, ration out food and have bunk beds and, listening to music, having fun, sharing one TV? Or did you have a different type of upbringing where, you was driven back and forth to school, or you had more than most, where some people may be jealous of that. So I just want to get more of your upbringing, and I know you probably wear Junior to your name because you wanted to make sure that I add that. So I want to get more about your relationship with your dad as well, because it just seemed like you wanted to proudly represent the Junior part. So I just want to get all of that in there.
Yes, I do. And so yeah, I grew up both a two-parent household. I had both of my parents. We had a good childhood growing up. I saw, they was together up until 2022 when my mom passed away.
Sorry,
So
my condolences.
Yeah, thank you. So they was together the whole time, and
Wonderful.
So I saw I had a good childhood. The decisions I made might not have reflected that.
Right.
But I had a supportive mom and dad at home. I grew up in DC initially. I started out in DC, in Northwest, and I never forget my dad told me, because we stayed around Sursum Quarters. It's a projects that was in Northwest DC, and he
okay.
said,
Okay, I was about to ask you. That's where you from, DC? That's where you from originally?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So he came outside one day and he saw me out there with my uncles. And my uncles, they was shooting some dice, and they was like, "Come on, nephew, you blowing the dice. Be my luck." And they were shooting dice. And when my dad saw that, he said, "Nah, we got to get you out of here. We gotta move." So we ended up moving out to Maryland and so that's where I grew up majority of my childhood. So I say the first quarter of my life, a majority of my childhood, that's where I grew up in PG County, Maryland, in Capitol Heights.
Okay.
And a single family household. So we had apartments. If we moved into an apartment in New Carrollton, then we moved into another apartment, and then they finally got a house, and that was our house that we grew up in. So yeah, I have two sisters.
Two sisters.
I am the oldest.
You're okay.
I am the oldest, and I mean, we didn't have a bad childhood. Like, our parents were able to provide for us. We had meals every night. If they were struggling, we didn't see it.
Got it.
If we were struggling, we didn't see it. Because of the neighborhood that we lived in, some of my choices and decisions as a child, it didn't replicate the household that I grew up in, like so many of us.
Yes, they quick. Yeah, they always to blame the parents. What your mom and dad teach you? And it's not always the case. So I'm glad you put that out there. So before we get any further, because you mentioned about you rebelling, when did that start? What age did that start? So I can kind of establish a timeline.
That was probably more so about 11, 12. It might have started when my sister was born. I was the only child for a long time.
Oh, okay.
See, now came, I was like, oh man,
you got mad. Okay, you got it.
Share now.
Okay, because I want to make sure, because I'm going to bookmark that, because I want to get, but I want to kind of get just a little more of a lead up. So, you said but aside from that, you're saying that, you was one of those that, you still strayed, even though you had a decent upbringing, even though you might have conflicts within, because like you said, you had a little bit extra bit of estrogen because you had two sisters, right? So all that alone, I know that, at least you had, your father there. So at least that was, it kind of balanced it out a little bit. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you that. With that being said, and I know that there were times that you were expected to be the protector of your sisters, even though your father was there, but you had to be the protector as well, in different elements, whether it was school or in the neighborhood and stuff like that. So what are some of the ways that you say that you had a decent upbringing? Like, can you tell us in your perspective what that looked like?
What I think that looked like is, I had supportive parents. We had food on the table every night. We had clothes on our back. Each of us had our own room. It wasn't much that we needed. It might not have been the Jordans all the time and this and that and the third, but we had, so that's why I say we had a good upbringing. Like, it wasn't some stories that I hear.
Gotcha. And I'm glad to hear that. But let me just ask you also, because like I said before, that you might have some turbulence, sometimes within the family dynamic. So can you share some of the most challenging times that you had, that you look back on it? Because sometimes you don't realize that there are challenges until you get older and you have more perspective, right? Because a lot of times when we revere people like our parents and other adults, we revere them when we're younger, but then when we get older, we tend to judge them. I mean, that happens when we know more. So I just wanted to ask you, as you gotten older, what are some of the things you look back on that was, challenges that you had to deal with growing up?
You talking about in the family dynamic?
Family dynamic, yes, in the household dynamic. Because I want to be as realistic too, even though I'm glad that you was able to share the fact that you had a good upbringing, because, most people don't have to be blessed with that. But I just want to give a touch of reality too, that's all.
Yeah. Have I really ever thought about that? So I would say, my mom was tough. So as my wife sometimes she say that's that Burgess in you. So the Burgess side of my family, my mom's side, they real tough. They real stern. They're vocal. They can.
Okay, yeah, he's on frozen. Yeah, Jeff is frozen, so hopefully he'll come back soon. But he was saying that his mother was more of the disciplinarian in the family. And so, and he was saying that the most of the mother's side of the family was more tougher when it came to raising the children. So that's what he was saying. So hopefully he'll be back soon. Like I said before, please pardon these difficulties, because it's not our fault, you guys. You know, these things happen, unfortunately, and we don't like for it to happen. Maybe he may need to go out and come back in again. Maybe that might help. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he may have to come out and come back in. So hopefully that would be better. Oh, I see you moved.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I apologize.
Yes, I say, let me just continue to talk to the audience so that way. But like I told him, I said, it's not our fault. I mean, these things happen, and it's frustrating for us because it just comes at the inopportune times. But but I was just telling just kind of recapping what you were saying about your mother being more of the disciplinarian. And what I was about to ask you was that was your mom? Do you find that at the time was your mom more tougher on you as the boy than the girls? Because sometimes it happens that way where there's more there's more favor towards.
Yeah, definitely, because my mom grew up with several brothers and uncles, and so she was like, look, he gonna be tough. He ain't gonna be no punk. He ain't gonna be crying. He gonna be tough. Yeah, we give him we give him what he need, but he gonna be tough. So because I did pick up some of the Burgess genes, like me and her would bump heads sometimes. I say that me and my mom would bump heads sometimes. So, I mean, that was one of the struggles, and that would lead me. I mean, especially as I started getting into my, adolescence age and becoming a teenager, and wanting to do what I want to do, and she like, no, you gonna do what I tell you to do, and so we would bump heads in that way. So I think just normal family dynamics that so I still definitely had to deal with that. So that was probably a struggle for a while. It wasn't until I got older that I had my own child that I realized, like, oh, I see what mom's was doing.
Oh yeah, that always happens. Always happens. Like, okay, you had that moment there. But who, as in your perspective, who was the favorite? Who was your mom's favorite? Who was your dad's favorite?
I think my mom's favorite was my middle sister.
Okay.
She was the goody two shoes. She was the one that got it right. She went to church every Sunday, and
okay.
She the one that got it right. I mean, and my dad, I don't know. It probably I was difficult, man. I was difficult. Like I used to run away a lot. I used to want to be outside the house all times of night.
Yeah, why are you so difficult? Because
I told you my choices didn't reflect the household that I was brought up in.
I understand that part, but Jeff, I mean, why? Like what I'm saying, like why did you feel the need to rebel that way? It had to be a reason.
I just wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Like I was strong-headed. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and that was it. Like I wanted it my way. It was my life. I'm gonna do what I want to do. That's how I felt.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. I totally understand. And sometimes when you are sheltered, like you said, you and your mom locked horns at times. So I think you wanted to kind of like, show out. You were smelling yourself, and you wanted
hold on. Did you just call me sheltered? You just called me sheltered.
Yes, I did.
Okay, sheltered. Get it.
So what are some of your I like people to talk about
this lighting. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, I hear that glare, right? I was going to ask you what are some of the memories you could share? Like did y'all, like I said, did y'all, take turns watching the TV or fight over it? Or did you have like music that y'all like to dance to? Like memories of going on your vacation, visiting relatives, like, or, just, playing until the street lights came on? Like, give us some memories.
Oh, the man, we talking about myself and my sisters, man, me and my sisters used to fight over the phone. That's what we used to fight over.
Yes.
You know, you got that one landline in the house.
Yes.
You got that one landline in the house. So it's like, nah, it's my turn to use the phone. My turn to use the phone, man. I used to unplug the phone and hide the phone. And so it was times I used to get on punishment, right? And when I would get on punishment, my room was in the basement, and my mom would unplug the phone in the basement and take it upstairs. And she would put it in my sister's room and tell my sister, don't let me get the phone. Man, I go in there and I just rough it. I'd be like, man, and then I'd be on the phone all day. And before moms come home, I take the phone, write it back up, put it back in the room, be like, don't tell. Yeah, we used to fight over that phone. I would say church. Church was one of the things when I was younger, because I wanted to be out in the streets. My family had a strong faith background. Like my mom went to church. She was a minister. You know, it was choir rehearsal. It was, you know, everything. So, you know, during the week, come on, we're going to choir rehearsal. Come on, we're going to Bible study.
It was a PK. Oh.
No, I wasn't a PK. She wasn't a pastor. She was a minister.
Okay.
Yeah. She was a minister. So it was that struggle of, like I said, me being headstrong. I would stay out on purpose, knowing we got to be at church at 7. And 6:30, they riding around the neighborhood trying to find me, and I'm hiding.
Oh my God. I can see you doing that. And you know, why would you hold up your family from going to church? And you know you're gonna get whooping. You got plenty of whoopings in you. I can imagine you got all kinds of things.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my goodness.
They spared the rod. They didn't spare the rod.
Where would you hide though? Where would you hide?
Man, I'd just be all over the neighborhood. Like I would go in places that I know they can't drive in. I'd be all over the place.
Oh God, who's that place you wouldn't even drive?
And I know they got to be to church at 7, so they only gonna spend at least 5 to 10 minutes trying to find me. If not, so I just got to survive 10 minutes. That's all I had to do.
That's the thing, Jeff. You know you're gonna get in trouble because where else you gonna go? You live there. You know you live with these people. You didn't think this too. Oh, that's too funny though. But we're going into the whole church thing. So just to make sure that we establish this, what is your spiritual belief now? I just want to make sure I have that.
I'm a believer. I'm a God-fearing man. I'm a minister myself now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that either. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. I gotta get ready for later. Okay, I gotta put out some stuff for later. Oh yes. Thank you for letting me know. Do it.
Yep. So that's why it's like all full circle. Where it's just like, yo, I turned around and, like I said, my mom was a minister. Now I'm a minister. My mom was. The way I picked up some of her parenting, you know. But
you know what? And just based on what you were saying about you rebelling and how you grew up, can you repeat that scripture about train up a child?
Oh, train up a child in the way it should go, and it should not depart. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. See, you know, it's always going to be embedded in you. So, but thank you for sharing that, because that's so important. Because a lot of times, you know, there's certain elements to our childhood that a lot of our children, a lot of us miss out on. So I'm so glad that you're able to be that person, that liaison, that you I'm talking about as far as, you know, what you're doing now, and we'll get into. So, you know, so I'm so glad that you're able to share that. So now let me get into the elementary, junior high school of it all, because a lot of times, like I say to my other guests, that we don't touch on that, you know, the elementary, junior high school phase, because they don't understand how much of self-discovery that involves. You know, they always go into high school, college. Yes, we know that, of course, we understand that there's some discovery there, but elementary, junior high school, that's like a pinnacle time. That's a pivotal time in all our lives. You know, we're discovering our anatomy. We're kind of trying to figure out who we who we're into, whether girls or boys. I mean, no judgment.
Mhm.
We kind of, we're humping in the staircases, we're, school lunches, we're interacting with the teachers, and, and how they, how they affect, our abilities, to kind of factor everything in. So I just want to get into that elementary and junior high school, that time frame, because that's around the time when you said that you started to really, feel yourself. So I was just want to get in more, like, were you a part of any clubs? Like, how were your grades? Like, were you a shy kid, popular kid? Like, get into the elementary and junior high school stuff. And also that's when you puberty and acne and all that.
Mhm.
So,
So elementary and junior high, I was always, I would say, I was always a known kid. I was always a part of the cool kids. Elementary, I was a little rough. So
come on,
you gonna make me dead. Look at you.
I'm ready. Come on.
So I had a little bit of an attitude problem growing up. So I did stuff like I got kicked out of DC schools at elementary school. I was going to Randall Highlands, and
how many school? Well, you got kicked out of what school? Elementary.
this was one of the elementary schools I went to. Yes,
elementary. Lord Jesus.
Yeah. I got kicked out of DC schools at that point. So I had an attitude problem. I don't remember what the teacher did, but the teacher told me that she would take the pizza back out of my stomach that she had just gave me, and I picked up a pencil and I said, "No, you won't." And I didn't. I don't think I know I didn't try to hit her, stab her with the pencil, but I guess the act pretty. Like it was, I just had I had an attitude issue. Middle school, I was doing dumb stuff. Like I was always getting in fights. Because at this point now I'm transitioning over into Maryland schools, and it was a little different in Maryland schools and DC schools. So I was always getting into fights. Of course, I used to always mess around with the girls. And I almost got kicked out of middle school because I had set the trash can on fire. I was just.
But where's all this come? Like I asked before, Jeff, where it had to come from? So where all this aggression? Where does all this come from? Where how does it all unleash on?
I just had an attitude problem. And I don't know where. I mean, I know where it came from. My mom had the same thing, but it just. I guess it just came out. I mean, anything that would tick me off. I had a problem controlling my anger. Let's say that, because I did in middle school. I had to go through a program, to an anger program. I had to go through an anger management program, and that really helped me. That really helped me a whole bunch. So I had to go through this program. It was through the courts. I had to go through this program, and I believe that the program was probably about 5 months long. I had to go once a week for like 5 months. And that's where I really learned how to be able to control the feelings and the urges that I would get. And that still helps me out even through adulthood. Like I'm so calm now. Like I'm just so calm. Like it takes a whole lot to get me angry. It takes a whole lot to get me angry. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm glad that you said that, but also just keep in mind that, and I want to stay here real quick because, and I'm glad that you said that because we have to pick our battles, and that was hard for us around the age group that you're talking about. Because I know I used to let small stuff upset me, or I used to just get amped up or worked up. But a lot of and even now today, I'm always misunderstood anyway. Even when I'm acting a certain, even talking to you right now, someone could say I'm aggressive, just even talking to you right now. So you could imagine, back then, just like, so that's why sometimes I've always been antisocial. But I also wanted to also just kind of add a little bit realistic aspect to it, because yes, I do agree that you need to pick your battles and know when to be angry. But I just want the people to know that it's okay to allow the anger to let out the anger, because it's an emotion that we have to have.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that you just got to unleash it in every given moment, or you have to just use it, malicious. I'm just saying that a lot of times we hold stuff in. A lot of times, and I always talk about toxic positivity. There's such thing as toxic positivity. And some people, when I add certain realistic aspects of certain things, they think I'm being negative. No, not at all. What I'm saying is that stop trying to deprive people from the healing process. Part of the healing process is to release anger and understand why that anger resides within us. And that's the only way you're able to heal, is to address the anger and why it's happening. That's all I'm trying to say, you guys, so, and I'm, so Jeff, I'm, is saying like, okay, it takes a lot to upset me, but to get to that point, Jeff, and I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but to get to the point, what you said, you had to address where the anger was coming from. So, given the anger management classes that you had to attend, what was those things addressed? Can you share with us some of the cliff notes of what some of those things were addressed in your approach towards understanding why you were being rebellious? Because I mean, teenagers are going to be teenagers, kids are going to be kids anyway. But there was extra, because burning the garbage can ain't normal. So I just just want to know, like, what was your approach towards that? Like, can you share, like, from your anger management classes, what was your approach towards releasing, and then also learning when to address certain things in the right way to make the healing process more smoother? So yeah.
So I really, because it was so long ago, so I will say the counting, of course. I mean, people say that's cliche, but that's real. Like, if you take a second and, you count, sometimes you got to just sit in silence and not respond immediately.
Yes.
And really think about, was it really, is it really worth it? Sometimes you got to find a healthy way to express your anger. Sometimes you have to learn how to communicate your anger. And I'm still to this day, I'm learning that. Still to this day. Like, it's a forever learning process. But you really got to just sit back. A lot of times now, I just let things roll off my back. Sometimes it's mistaken for as nonchalant, but I'm not really nonchalant. I'm just like, it's not that serious. You got to know yourself. You got to know yourself. It's not that serious for me to take myself there. So I'm gonna leave it alone at this moment, and hey, we'll talk about it eventually.
Let's revisit it. Yes, it's okay to let cooler heads prevail and revisit it, because when I always say, you got to address it. Don't just, sweep it under the rug. Oh, I'm gonna just let it go. It's all right. I'm gonna let it roll off. And that's when you become explosive later on, because you think that you could, just forgive. And that's the thing I want to talk to you about too, Jeff, about forgiveness, because that plays a part in what we're talking about as well. Because some people, they don't understand the true concept of forgiveness and how it works for multiple people, because it isn't measured the same for you, for everyone. It has a unique approach to it. So I really want you to get more into that part as far as forgiveness, and also learning not only to pick your battles, but not tolerate. There's certain things you don't tolerate. There's a difference between learning how to pick your battles and the level of tolerance that you're able to accept. So can you just kind of go over that perspective, please?
So I think forgiveness is major. If you don't forgive, then they always hold on to a trigger on you.
Yes.
I looked at Tracy Morgan's situation, right? When you familiar with that?
Yes, I did.
I saw the Tracy Morgan situation, and I said he missed a major opportunity. The opportunity that he missed was the opportunity to heal, because he was holding on to something that happened to him so long ago that when he saw that guy, it automatically took him back there, and he automatically saw bully. When in actuality, at this point in life, years later, the guy's not actually a bully. He was at his weakest point asking for help. And no, you ain't got to empty your pockets for him, but that was an opportunity to say, you know what? Come on, man, I'll get you something to eat. And let him know how that affected you back in the day, and let him know that you forgive him. And in the same turn, you're able to, you're helping him in the same space. So now, if you ever run across that man again, guess what? It's not a trigger anymore, because you was able to deal with that trigger and you was able to heal right there in that moment. So that's why I believe forgiveness is so important. It's for you. It's for you. It releases one of the triggers that people hold on.
Yes. Yeah. So just to kind of piggyback on what you said, and I do agree to an extent, and I'm gonna tell you why. But just to give the audience context to what we talking about, there was
you from New York, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so somebody in the comments responded to me. Yeah, that's New Yorkers are different. We don't. But go ahead, I'm listening.
Good. You good? You live on your end?
Huh?
You live on your end? You good on your end on Instagram?
I don't know if I'm on. I don't know if I'm on. I had to switch over to my phone. So.
Oh, okay. But good. I'm glad that you have some engagement. Okay, so good. All right. So yes, I am originally from New York. But just to give a little context to the audience, there was an incident a couple of months ago where Tracy Morgan was at a game. I think it was at a basketball game, and backstage, there was someone from his past that approached him, and so he revealed that he was homeless, and he was like, "I'm homeless, boy." And the fact that boy part, that that kind of stuck with me too. But I'm gonna get to that too. So Tracy Morgan was like, "Oh, don't think I owe you. I don't owe you anything, And that level of entitlement sometimes happens as well. So it was that exchange, and so he was like, "I'm homeless, bro." And so Tracy Morgan was like, "Well, that's it." Like I think what she said, I don't know verbatim, but it was something like a you problem, or that has something to do with me, or something.
Yeah, something that ain't, and there's something else about I take care of my kids, and he just went down a rabbit hole. Like,
yeah, okay. And so what I wanted to say was that I did do a video on this, and so and I do agree with you when it comes to forgiveness, because it is for you, and it's so healthy, But again, the process is different, right? Because just because you forgive, some people don't understand this. Just because you forgive someone, forgiveness does not require you to still have the same type of dynamic interaction with that person, because you can move on and lead with love, but you can also love from a distance.
Yep.
That's just me. So that Tracy Morgan situation. Now I know you said that at that moment he wasn't a bully. We don't know that, because my thing is that we don't even know the nuance of we don't know the in between of what happened and the impact that man had on Tracy at that time, because there must have been something really impactful that really with him. Because I'm sure that I don't know. I mean, he might hold a bit of a grudge. I don't know. We don't even know if Tracy Morgan fully forgave him or not, or he's still holding a grudge, but it had to be something very impactful for him. And they never had the opportunity to have the conversation to address it, like you said, about, okay, this is how you made me feel when you said this or did this to me. Obviously, they didn't have that conversation. So in Tracy's mind, he's still that bully from back in the day, because because it was never no in between. There was no conversation. It was that impact and the effect of what happened or what he's done. And so, because I don't know if you believe in karma, but I do. I do believe that karma exists, and we don't know when it's going to happen. So, and I think that this is, and I don't want to say, because I don't want to sound insensitive, because I'm very compassionate. Don't get me wrong, I am. I really am, but I do. Yeah.
So I would say in that, so when I say he wasn't a bully in that moment, so one thing we know about bullies is bullies don't like to show weakness.
Of course.
They don't like to show vulnerability.
They're the most insecure, right? They're the most insecure.
And when he approached Tracy in that moment, I feel like he was asking for something. He was asking like, hey, you know what? Can you help me out? I'm hungry. Like he was showing weakness. He was showing vulnerability. So I was just saying, yeah, Tracy probably still saw him as the bully because that's what he remembered him as. But in that moment, it was like he was at his most lowest moment or lowest point. So that's what, yeah.
And I get it, but that's the thing. Before, and I understand he's at the lowest point, and he wanted help. But I think it would have helped if at that moment, even though it was like kind of a lot of things going on, commotion going on, he could have said, you know what, I acknowledge what I did and I'm sorry. He could have led with I'm sorry at least, it could have started there. And maybe he could have, like Tracy could have kind of, let his guard down a little bit if he would have started off with saying, I know I did you wrong and I'm sorry, but the fact is I'm homeless, boy, like, it's like, I heard a voice of entitlement.
Did he say boy?
Yeah, he said boy at the end. I'm homeless, boy.
Oh, I thought he said bro. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like it was like entitlement in his voice, and it's like like, oh yeah, I know I did you wrong, but here, this is where I am right now. Here we are, So it's like it's just like it's so many missing pieces that we don't. But again, I do understand both sides of it. I try to meet these things in the middle. And I was saying that we don't know the impact because I was bullied, and I understand how. How it is when you you try to disengage with certain people, but at the same time, again, love from a distance because being I'm a spiritual person myself, as believing in God, a lot of times people think that because you're a child of God or you have certain spiritual beliefs that again it makes it with level of tolerance that we're going to just forgive, or you're going to give me grace anyway because I did this. You're going to be graceful because that's who you're supposed to be because you're a child of God. So they add God when it's convenient.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but
so what would you have done in that moment?
Oh goodness. Good question.
So let's think of, you said you've been bullied before. Let's think of the number one bully in your mind. What would you have done in that moment?
I would have said hello. I would have said hi, and I would have been like, I don't know. I don't think I would have walked off so coldly. Mm-hmm. I would at least heard the person out. I would have heard the person out. I probably would have waited for an apology, but if I didn't get one, I would have still been able to hear some backstory. I would have been able to hear them, and I also would have had the opportunity to say, well, okay, I hear what you're saying, and I understand that you have the circumstances that they're unfortunate, but I just want you to understand, or are you aware, or do you remember some of the things that you said and done to me in the past that we never got to address? Are you aware of it? And is there any accountability on your part? Are we gonna have that conversation? Because I want us to have that conversation.
And then if they would have cried, broke down, and said, man, if they would have cried, broke down, and said, hey, I'm so sorry, I apologize. We were kids, didn't know what I was doing. If they gave you the whole spiel, then would you have got them a cheeseburger?
Yeah, with cheese on it. Some tomatoes. Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But it also depends on the situation at hand. Mm-hmm. But yes, because like I said, I'm not, but I'm glad that you that was a good example that Tracy Morgan piece. So given so were you bullied?
No, I wasn't bullied.
Okay, but I know you was aggressive. But when you were, because the difference between being aggressive and being a bully. So but you were aggressive. But were you a bully?
No, I wasn't a bully.
Okay,
no, I ain't do that. I ain't mess with people that was.
Yeah,
I only mess with other aggressive people.
Okay, you match energies. Oh, okay, you match. Got you. So okay, so we going back. Okay, so you shared about your experiences in elementary, junior high school, and how your actions had led up to needing anger management to know how to channel that anger, and you was able to address where it was coming from and how to be more proactive. How to handle it, so and have a handle on it, right? And so with that, with all the teachers that of all the things that you were able to be to receive from that, how did that lead you from moving forward? Like, where did it start? Like, okay, you went from being rebellious to family schooling, and you had the anger management. You had those resources. So from getting those resources and learning what you was able to learn, what can you take me back to one of the first things? Let me see. Like, I'm trying to word it properly. What were the first things that you remember where you had to use what you learned? That's what I want to say. What is one of the first instances that you had to use what you learned?
Well, I didn't really use what I learned until probably I got out of high school. I mean, it was probably through high school. It tamed me a little bit, you know. I just wasn't as quick. I wasn't as quick to throw the hands.
Right.
I wasn't as quick to, just snap off.
Yeah,
I was able to tone it down a little bit in high school, and I think so. I could say I used it in high school, and I was playing football in high school as well. So that
that's very aggressive.
Yeah, that was my healthy outlet. That was my way to be able to. So I played high school for the first two. I mean, I played football the first two years of high school.
Okay, pause.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, that's a good segue into high school. What high school did you go to?
Suitland High School.
What's it called?
Suitland High School. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. So before we get to that part, I'll bookmark that real quickly because I want to get more into the self-discovery there, because it's a whole different level of self-discovery from elementary, junior high. Now we're in high school. Whole nother feel. You have, I don't know if you had a ghost spurt or not. Did you date? Did you have any influences, any clubs that you're a part of, any extracurricular activities other than football? Like, give us that journey through high school. More of that.
All right, so my journey through high school started out great. I was on the football team. First year I was on JV, and I was good, but I wasn't starting. I wasn't starting on JV. So, I had my little rants where sometimes I wouldn't get in the game, and I'm on the sideline talking to my pops, man, forget this team, man. I ain't about to keep playing football. I keep going to practice all these days, and I ain't getting the game. So I would have my days where I would go through that. And then my grades kind of declined a little bit because, when you're playing, but you ain't getting out on the field and you used to playing, coming from Boys and Girls Club, it's just like, man, so I kind of started getting to the other side of high school, smoking and, hanging out, skipping class, this and that. So started my second year, I started playing football, and then I ended up getting kicked off the team because of my grades. My grades had slipped. And it was so funny because, like, I remember to this day, one of my homeboys, we was skipping class, and we was going to smoke, and he was like, bro, nah, you need to go to class. Like, you a football player. Like, you got something going. Like, you don't need to be hanging doing this. And I was like, man, I'm good. I got this. Of course, my strong-headed self.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and from that moment, things started getting shaky and going downhill. My grades wasn't the greatest. It wasn't that good. I was in terrible risk of failing. Just because I guess when I stopped playing football, it was like, hey, what I need to keep going to class for.
Yeah, what else is there?
Yeah, and I didn't join anything else. Even though I played drums, I didn't join the band because, I looked down on the band. I felt like that wasn't the cool kids.
Okay.
That wasn't the cool kids.
I'm wondering, Jeff, just given, you in high school, and I'm wondering, like, just based off what you're telling me right now about your behavior, how did that affect your mother? Because I know your mother wanted to just really, because I was know your mother wanted to just put a hurting on you, and y'all know that you was getting bigger at that time, and I know the bigger you got, the more mouthy you got, and so I just need to know that dynamic between you and your mom at that time.
I mean, it was rough because she wanted, she'd go to the body, but I can't, it's moms, I can't do nothing back. So,
No, you better not.
but it's it was rough. Even my dad during that time, I think he was more disappointed. My dad was always the cool, laid back guy. Like you'll see a little bit of his anger, but he wasn't the type to like my mother. You knew she'll wreak havoc. She'll wreak havoc.
So what was the key thing, that really got you to the point where you said, okay, I really need to kind of step my game up and kind of, stop all this nonsense? Like, what was it that what was the contributing factors towards you doing the 180?
So the guys I was hanging with.
Your peers, okay.
Yeah, my peers, the guys I was hanging with. They had went out and they skipped school, went out and did some stupid stuff one day. I was supposed to be with them, but this particular day, I was in class. And they went to go steal some cars, got chased by the police, and, they ended up getting shot up. One of my buddies, he got hit pretty bad, like in the back of the neck, in his head. It grazed his head, around his body. It was about 3 or 4 of them that got hit up real bad. And when I went to church that same night, because I actually found out that morning. And then that night, the next morning, I went to church, and one of the ministers at church came to me. He said, man, I don't know. I had a dream about you in a body bag next to a minivan. And that's what they were stealing, minivans. Oh. He said, I had a dream about you in a body bag next to a minivan.
Ooh.
And I was like, wow. And I was upset with them because I was like, man, I was supposed to go with y'all. Y'all left me. What y'all doing? And then it was just like, once I heard that, I was like, that maybe this ain't really, and again, through the rest of high school, I still dibbled and dabbled, but I did enough to at least get out.
Because I bet that wake up call, that was like divine intervention. I mean,
yeah,
that was the wake up call that you needed. So thank God for that. But it's unfortunate that you lost, friends, lost your peers because of that. But
they still live, but they just had major damage. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Like one of them is still suffering from that to this day. Yeah.
And you was in class. See, you was where you were supposed to be at that time. You see how that works?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So from high school, so is there anything else that you want to share from high school? Like, did you, because a lot of people do, like I said, other extracurricular activities. You said you learned the drums, but you didn't do the band. Did you do any part-time work or anything like that? Or you just went straight to college? Did you go to college, by the way? I mean, you go straight to college?
I went to college for half a semester.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there any time in between? Did you go straight there, or did you?
No, I went straight there. Yeah.
And which college? Hey, you still, it was half a semester, you still went. So where'd you go?
PG Community College.
PG Community College. And what did you study?
At that time, it was just general studies. I didn't even have yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a small move, by the way. You don't want to rush to pursue a major if you decide to go to college. So yeah, that was smart. Okay, so and you decided you didn't stay that long. Why was that? Like, did you know, like, was there a path that you wanted to take that you knew that you wanted to go to, or it was just you didn't know, it was just wasn't for you?
Yeah, it wasn't for me. I was dibbling and dabbling in the streets, and it wasn't for me. Like at that time, it was, to me, it was like,
hold you back.
Yeah.
And so what did you end up doing? Okay, other than the streets, like, I mean, what were you into, at that particular time, after high school? What else were you?
After high school, I lingered around for a long time. I was in the streets for a while. And I didn't So it was crazy how I even became a police officer. So I was in the streets for a while, for some years, nothing real concrete. I was working different jobs here and there, moving job, getting paid under the table and all of these different type of jobs that was leading nowhere. It was
Paid the bills.
I was on a fast pace nowhere, for real. That's what it was.
You would have paid the bills. I mean, were you still living at home at the time?
So no, I was initially house to house. I could have been home, but again, my decision making. I was house to house because I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and the houses that I was staying in, it allowed me to still be out there the way that I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I met a young lady, and I ended up moving in with her. And then, she was on her stuff. It's always the women, always on their stuff. They done graduated college, got a good government job. And she told me that, look, I want to be with you, but I need you to get out the streets. I need you to get something concrete, get something real, and, stop dibbling and dabbling. So initially I didn't listen. I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I got you. She put in some applications for me. Police department, fire department, the post office, just like all over the place. And the police department called. And I just happened to answer the phone one day, and I was like, oh, this gotta be a joke. And I hung up the phone. We had a discussion, and it was like, listen, like, you ain't go to college. You are, at that time, I think I was 21. You 21.
Wait, we wind back. Did you hung up on them and they called back? I mean, or did you call, you hung up?
No. So that's why I'm going. Yeah, I hung up.
Okay.
I hung up. And then we had a conversation, and, she just really let me know, hey, look, you got to find a career. Like, you got to find something that's going to carry you through life. You can't keep just running the streets. Like, the streets ain't going to lead you nowhere. So I ended up calling them back.
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah, I don't know what happened to the phone, but I'm interested. And so that's how I became a police officer.
Get out.
Yeah, that's how I became a police officer. It wasn't something that, I grew up saying that I wanted to be. Like, I ran from police. I wasn't trying to be a police. And so at that moment, I had to make a decision on, I had to look into my future, and I couldn't continue to look day to day. And that's something that I talk to the kids about, like always looking forward, looking into your future, and not just living day to day and thinking, because you keep living day to day, and guess what? Time going to creep up on you. And next thing you know, you 30, 40 years old, and you're looking back.
There's so much time. Yes. Yeah.
Because you living day to day. You happy with your little $50, $60, $80 that you're making under the table every day, So back then it was $50, $60, $80. But yeah, so that's how and then I made the decision to go ahead and, go into the academy, and that's what I did.
And so going into the academy, can you give us just a little bit of the process of you joining the police academy, and you trying to get into that group. Can you just give us kind of cliff notes of what the process was like for you?
Yeah, so the process. So you had to, they do a background check. They do a background. Fortunately, again, God, I had never got caught with anything, so I had a clean background. So they do a background check. You got to go and take a lie detector test. Wow. I always tell people, be honest. They ask you if you ever smoke weed. I said yes.
They're going to find out.
I did. Yes. I did that. You got to take a physical exam. They got, they take a psych test to make sure you ain't crazy. I think I had took enough anger management classes that I was able to. What else? And then after that, if you get selected, then you go into the academy. So the first month of the academy, I had to actually live there during the week and go home on the weekends.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was in the academy for like 6 or 7 months. And And then I was released onto the streets.
And so how can you give us a little bit more about the academy? Is it as physically demanding as we imagine? Was there any hazing involved? And just kind of, I just want to get an idea of, what that was like, and can you give us a little bit more of how you were trained and how just going into present day, how how the process is now, and who we have in the streets now who are not as equipped. So I just my point is that I just want to do a little bit of compare and contrast, so to speak.
So it was militant when I went in. Well, it was militant. It was real military. Like I said, you had to live there, so you had to wake up. We had to wake up 3, 4 in the morning, be in the gym for workouts. Sometimes we would run the streets for miles. Sometimes then we go to breakfast. Then we come back for class work. Then we go to lunch, come back for class work, go to dinner, come back. You got your study period. You get 10 minutes on the phone, one phone call. And every day you had to make up your bed, your lights out at a certain time. Like, it was real militant, real strict. At the end of the week, if however many times you messed up during the week, before you go home, you gotta give up them gigs. So if it's push-ups, whatever push-ups, sit-ups, it was militant. Nowadays, not so much. And so I feel like the department equips you. The department, they still equip you the same way. From back then to now, they equip you with the tools, with the knowledge. I think a lot of the times with police officers, it basically comes down to your people and communication skills.
Yes.
That's what it's about. It's if you don't have people skills and communication skills, then 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be you won't have a rough career. Let's say that.
Yeah. So, Jeff, let me ask you: are you still on the force, or did you retire? Because I know you can retire.
Yeah, I'm still on the force. I got 2 years left.
Okay. So, I want to ask you: so far, I mean, because you've been, you've been true to this for some time now. So, I just want to ask you what, and I know it's going to be hard to say one of, but that's what we got time for. But what is one of the most difficult, challenging aspect of your job where you had to, encounters, one of the difficult encounters and one of the most rewarding ones, one-on-one?
So I think one of the most difficult for me, I've seen a lot. One of the most difficult.
Yeah, I know it's one of. Yeah, I know it's hard to.
Yeah. One of the most difficult for me was having to deal with child molester. Someone that had did some bad stuff to a child, and then having to deal with them, still as a normal person, with respect and all that stuff. I think that was one of the tough things for me. Out of all the things that I've seen, I think for me, because in any normal human being, like, we know children are off limits. Like, that's not. For me, children are off limits. That's something you don't play with. And it was a family friend, a next door neighbor. So you kind of trust your kids with certain people, and to think that they would do that. And I think that was to be able to contain myself, not to. And I had to transport him. So I wanted to hit the corner a little too hard on some of them turns, and and rough them up a little bit. But yeah, that was one of the toughest for me. And that's a lot compared to what I've seen. But the most rewarding is what I do now. Mm-hmm. What I do now, I work with youth, and I'm able to mentor youth. I'm a part of the police department's band. So what we do, we go into the elementary schools, we do officer friendly programs, and then we give them a concert. So I play drums, so I'm a part of the band, and this is the most rewarding part of my career. Even though my whole career I've dealt with youth. I've been in boys and girls clubs. I've done a lot of stuff with youth, but this part of my career right now is the most rewarding because I mean every day it's bringing smiles to kids' face, and it's even the adults. They like, yo, I remember y'all like when I was a kid, y'all came to my school, and you know,
because you mentor adults too. The parents they're being mentored too. You know, they need that. They need that support. Absolutely.
So so my mentoring piece I do that with high school boys. And I sit down with them. One of the schools I deal with now, it's about 20 young men that I deal with, and I mentor and I walk with them through their, senior year of high school, kind of help them prepare into the next level because they're about to hit the real world, and if they don't have somebody there to prep them for it, to try to give them some of the tools to deal with it, it's gonna be rough.
Yes, well, extremely. And what is your rank now? What is your current?
So I'm an officer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an officer.
And so I really am so happy that you said that. I gotta, that's why I reacted the way I did, because when you mentioned about, high school youth, I mean, that right there, that demographic, I mean, we just need to grab our sons, we need to grab our nephews, we need to grab our cousins, because I think that a lot of times we understand that the girls need protection, but our boys, oh God, Jeff, our boys. And I really do appreciate you saying that, because I think there needs to be more men, because I had my first interview I had on here was with my cousin, Greston, and we was talking about how a lot of the men who are raised by single mothers, and we was not bashing single mothers. Let me just put that out there. But being raised by single mothers, a lot of times they're kind of get lost, out there, or they just don't, the act right is not instilled, as it should be, so and that's why it's so important. Even when you are raised by a single mother, or, raised by mostly women, that testosterone component, that component that needs to be, that needs to be embedded, that needs to be there. So I really want to thank you so much for being that vessel, for the youth. And so before I want to make sure I do this now before I forget. I want to give you your flowers for that. Yes, I want to absolutely
Thank you.
Absolutely. So it's well deserving. Before I forget, I didn't want to forget that, because you deserve that. You deserve that and then some. So So but I want to also I want to challenge you, Jeff, on something, because I want to, given what we known about you so far, and we're going to get more into your career and your journey. But there's this young kid that I want you to use your abilities to speak to pour into, so to speak. I want you to pour into this young kid who was rebellious, who just had these struggles with trying to fit in, or try to figure, or that sense of direction that he didn't have before. So I want you to kind of give your where you are now, in the position that you are in now, just thinking back to where you were before and where you are now. Can you mentor this kid for me, please? Can you pour into him? Can you pour into him, please?
Oh man, the young me.
I want you to mentor him, pour into him. He needs some pouring into.
Young man, you got a whole life ahead of you, man. You ain't got to try to grow up so fast. Enjoy the days that you're in. Like, take this part of your life serious, but still enjoy it and have fun. But have fun in the correct way. You ain't got to be in the streets to have fun, to enjoy yourself. And I always want you to look forward on life. Look forward to what it is that you want to be. Don't just focus on what's going on today, or what's where you're struggling at. Like, I want you to look forward. You got a whole life ahead of you, and God has some things planned for you that you don't even know about. I need you to have your mind open. Be open-minded. Don't be so closed-minded and close things off because you think it's not cool, or you think other people won't like it. Like some of the things that you won't try could have your purpose in it.
Mhm.
Don't be so focused on your reputation that you lose your purpose.
Mm.
Because sometimes your reputation, it won't allow you to do some things, but your purpose is going to require you to be vulnerable. So learn how to be vulnerable young. You can still be tough. It's just because you're being vulnerable don't mean you're weak. Actually, being vulnerable is being strong. So don't be so big on your reputation. Allow God to use you. Allow God to use the gifts that He put inside of you. You got a whole life ahead of you. You're gonna be great. You're gonna be awesome. You're gonna be awesome, young man.
Yes, and I think that was well received, and I think he received it. I could tell by that stance that he's so confident, in that stance. So I think it was well received and very well said, Jeff. Very well said. Thank you for that. Yeah, yeah. So when you look back at that, just by you pouring into the young Jeff right there, can you tell me a little bit more about the space that you was in at that time and what would you have done differently at that time, at that moment? Just based off of what you just poured into him just now.
So at that time, at that moment, if I can go back at that time, at that moment, I would have been more open to trying other things. I'm talented in drums, but I never took the time to cultivate that gift, through being in a band at school,
Yes.
theater. I have a talent in theater. I
Wow.
never in that one point of my life thought about being a part of theater because I looked at who was a part of that. Let's say
Yes.
that. I looked at who was a part of that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, nah, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can go back, a lot of things that I didn't give a try, I would have gave it a try.
Okay. And I'm glad, I received that, and I do understand where you're coming from. I totally understand that, because I had to offer. I was interviewing with Bubs the God. Shout out to him, and I was, and I kind of addressed that, and I had to offer an apology, because at the time, at the age that you're talking about, when we had that mindset, where we didn't know better, and we, felt that was a bit tabooish, apology of our ignorance, in that aspect. So thank you for sharing that as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So let me go more. I want to get more into, because you got into, your journey as an officer and as a mentor. So I want to, dive a little bit more into that, the mentorship, and also your being a musician, because, I love music, So what are some of the music that you love? Because this helps me for later on. What's some of the music that you love, that you like?
Oh, I'm from DC, so I'm gonna go ahead.
Go. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I love go. I've played I've played with go bands. So go, and I'm not really back in the day. I was a rap fan, but nowadays not so much.
Yeah, I know.
Not so much nowadays. Back in the day, man, yeah, I knew everything. The Pac, the Biggie, the 3-6, the 8-ball MJG, like
Yes.
UGK, 3-6 Mafia,
Oh yeah. This one, yes.
So we knew everything back in the day. Nowadays, not so much. So I'm more so go and gospel, and I love gospel.
Go and gospel. What about R&B?
Yep, R&B too. I'm sorry. Yep,
Yeah.
R&B.
Yep. That's I want to make sure I establish that, because like I said, it's going to.
It's the R&B scene ain't so big now.
I know it. You know what? Yeah. Okay. No, I get what you're saying, and I kind of agree to an extent, but it's just that because it is out there, so we just have to kind of pull more into that space, because there is still some great R&B out there, but it's still like it's not as appreciated here as it would be overseas, but it's still out there. But also I think that, we need to get more back into the R&B space, because now it's starting to transition more into the hip hop. Now with R&B, it's starting to sound more like hip hop, even with the lyrics. Now you hear certain songs that you could groove to, but then they starting with the, vulgarity of it all. And I'm like, oh gosh, see, now the mood is gone. I don't want to anymore. Yeah, I don't, it's not very sexy. It's not sexy anymore.
Nope.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing. But that's that. But you telling me this, that's helpful for what we're going to do later on. Yeah. So so let me ask you as a mentor, police officer. I mean, you have so many entities that is so needed, and I want to know because I look at my feed and social media and all the violence that takes place, and these kids at schools that are attacking teachers, and it's just dark. It's so dark out there, Jeff. So I want to know, like, in your experience, I know you dealt with some of these kids. Like, these kids are just like unruly, extremely uncontrollable, just want to curse you out and try to attack you. I mean, I'm sure they tried it with you. How do you handle those type of kids?
Because I deal with youth, I just gotta have a lot of patience with them, and it's a lot of talking. And I mean, you have to realize that, unfortunately, you're not gonna be able to save them all.
Right.
And everybody might not be assigned to you. Somebody else might be able to save that kid, but they might not be assigned to me. So you just gotta, the ones that you're drawn to or that are drawn to you, like, you just got to keep working on them and keep leading them. And because like I said, the class of the group of 20 guys that I had, I mean, all of them listen to me. All of them, we all cool.
Come across any, like, I'm talking about, and I'm not trying to ask, but I want to know, like, because they're, like I said, there are like no respect at all. Like, I'm not, no respect, no fear at all.
A lot of them, but see, when you get them by themselves, they different.
That's true.
They're not the same as when they with the group of guys that they doing what they do with. When you get them by themselves, you see them and you realize, oh, these just kids. Oh, he a little boy, man. He out here doing grown people stuff. Like, so I think when I get them in them one-on-one environments, initially they might be all, standoffish, try to keep but eventually that goes, it'll go away. Eventually it'll go away. And, even being a police officer, next thing you know, you find them always wanting to be around you, always want to call you or stuff like that. Like, and it'd be so weird. But yeah, so when you got them by themselves, they're totally different. They're not the same as when they're in the group. I had a situation 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. Had a situation a year ago where I had to kind of put hands on a young man. And, they was like, well, why don't you lock him up? Lock him up. And I said, nah, you know what? We're going to let him go. And we're going to let him go under the terms that I'm going to mentor him. I'm going to mentor you. And when I tell you, like, for a while, I was going to his house and everything. Got to know his mom. We was talking. I was working with him, but unfortunately, he just couldn't get out the streets. So, now he's in some trouble for something. So he's not out here right now. But even in the moments, like, it's certain kids that once you get them by yourselves, like, you'll be able to work with them. All of them don't need to be initially. Now, if you do something crazy, yeah, you need to get locked up. But all of them don't need to get locked up. Absolutely. They just need some talking to. They need some guidance. But you got to get them by themselves, because if they with their friends, they ain't gonna listen.
Yeah, I agree. I do that. So, and also just one more thing about your position as an officer, because I mean, like I was getting into it in the beginning about the climate that we're in right now between the community and law enforcement, and how it's so hard out there. And I know that most officers, I don't think they just wake up every day, go to work to um to off somebody, or
Right.
to use excessive force. I don't think they have that mindset when they first wake up, or when they get out there, because they putting their lives on the line. They this the risk that you guys are taking for us, and thank
Yep.
you for that. But I just want you to just kind of touch briefly on the climate that we're in right now. The unjust force that is being used on some civilians, but there are times where a lot of people may not understand that when you resist, or when you don't comply, or when the officers really are doing their job, or they don't understand that when they have to um, um, pow someone, that it is justified, but they don't want to, sometimes they don't want to hear that part. So I just, want to get more into, like, I said, I know it's kind of loaded. I know, I'm sorry. It's kind of loaded. I just want to make sure that we cover some of the bases here,
Yeah.
and how what your perspective on this climate right now.
It's a rough climate. It is a tough climate. I always feel if you lead with respect, you'll get respect. I went back to communication. Like, it's all about how you, just as much as it is about how a citizen communicates with us, it's as much about how we communicate with citizens. And I think now, if you got to do your job, you got to do your job. Unfortunately, that's the nature of the job. Sometimes, if you have to do your job, you have to do your job, because at the end of the day, you still got to make it home to your family as well. And outside of that, like, it's just you can. I think you can have people comply. It just depends on how you deal with them. And again, you gotta have patience. Like, sometimes everybody's not going to do something the first time you say do it. Like, you're gonna have patience, and you're gonna have to talk them through it. You don't know, you never know how somebody's day's going, what they've been through, what happened right before the interaction with them. So you gotta have all these things in mind, but you still have to be safe in doing so.
Yes.
You still have to be safe in doing so. So I always just tell people, man, look, anytime you have any interaction with police officers, hey, just do what they ask you to do. Even if you feel it's wrong, even if you feel like it's a time and place to fight that, and a way to fight that. If they ask you, just yes, sir. Because now they don't have a reason to. There's no reason to escalate, because you're being compliant, and you're not being.
Yeah, some of these officers, Jeff, and I know you for yourself. Some of these officers, I mean, they're out of there.
I know, but guess what? Those are the main ones that you want to be.
Yes.
So it was funny, because a guy asked me today. I had to take my scout car to through the inspection space, and it was a long line, and I had pulled up, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" And he was surprised that I spoke to him, because he said, "Man, yo, what? Like, a lot of y'all officers, a lot of your coworkers, like they." I said, "Man, I understand, but I believe in speaking to everybody. I believe in speaking to everybody." And we had a nice little conversation right there at that moment. And he doesn't normally talk to police officers.
Right.
But again, I believe it's how you present yourself. I mean, if you come with respect, and you able to communicate with people, like he sent me through the empty line. I was out of there in 10 minutes. I ain't had to go through the long line. So yeah, that's what I believe. But even when you see an officer that's high intense, like, that's even more reason to, like, make sure you're calm. Two people that's up here ain't going. Somebody got to be here. So if the officer going to be here, you got to be here. If the citizen going to be here, the officer got to be here. Like, we both can't be here together.
All right. So, Jeff, I want to get more into your minister, as a minister. Or you're Your pastor, like what is your role? What is
No,
your role?
minister. I'm a minister.
Minister.
Yep,
And
yep.
because it's always this whole thing about separation of church and state, right? So I just want to know, like, your take on you being a minister and a police officer, and how does that sit? How does that sit with the church as well as community, as far as you being an officer? Because some people don't feel like you, if you're a politician or law enforcement, that you shouldn't be, you know, in that spiritual space.
Oh man, I think you should want a minister to be a police officer. Because he's held to a standard as well. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
as a minister, we are supposed to help people. We're supposed to lead people, you know. So I think for me, I think it works hand in hand, because it helps keep me grounded. It helps keep me grounded in understanding what my purpose is, and what what my commission is. I mean, it helps keep me grounded. I don't think it's a separation. I don't think it gets in the way of anything. Like, I don't think either one gets in the way of it. I think it blends. I mean, I'm a servant in both areas.
absolutely. And I, you know, for what I hear, I'm sure you serve very, very well.
Mhm.
And so, and I'm getting to all of this, because, like I said, we was able to cover a lot here. So I want to get more into your backstory when it comes to you meeting this beautiful woman right here. How did this come about? Give us a little
My
bit of backstory
baby.
about, yeah. Give me a little bit of backstory about
Mm.
this, behind this here.
Woo. I see her, I get a little excited.
Oh, I love that. Oh, you're excited. That's good. I know that's good.
No, so I was at a so this is when I first was getting back into church, because I went through a phase where I was rebellious against church. And this is when I got back into church, and I was I had just got out of a relationship in January of that year, 2018. I had just got out of a relationship in January of 2018, and I was more so like just rebuilding myself. I was just like, yo, you know what? Let me just focus on me. Let me, you know how it is. You go to the gym, you working out, you spending more time with yourself. And that's when I met her. Now our stories differ.
Is that her? Is that her right here?
Yes, her name is Nikita.
Hi, Nikita. Welcome, Nikita.
Where's she at? She on the thing?
She's in the chat. Yeah.
Is you up there?
Yeah, she's up there. Yeah, she's right there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she is. Bam, there she go right there. Yeah. So our stories are going to differ on how we met.
The type of the chat, Nikita. Whatever it is, like fill in the blanks for us in the chat while he's talking, Nikita. Go ahead.
So I was playing drums. You know, we was doing a community event. I'm out there playing drums. We was in front of the Rita's. You know, the Rita's is an ice cream joint out here. So I'm playing drums, and I look over, and I see this little light skinned junk looking at me. I'm like, okay, all right, shorty, Lord, nice, shorty, nice.
Okay.
You just looking at me smiling, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to get that. I'm gonna have to get that once I finish these drums. And so after we finished, I found out that she knew the Congo player, one of my bandmates. And he was like, oh yeah, that's little sis. So I said, that's little sis. Oh man, little sis, she off limits. That's your little sis, she off limits. So I left it at that. And I didn't, a week later, he had a cookout at his house, a party at his house, and I was there, and she was there. And so I was in the kitchen, and she walked in, and I see her, and my guys, they was like, hey, who that? I was like, nah, that's little sis. She off limits. You can't talk to her. And then next thing you know, me and her get to talking. And I'm saying, like, we was in that cookout talking for about 4 hours to each other. Like nobody else was there. Like we was off in the corner on the balcony enjoying the weather, just having a conversation about everything. And there was
Mhm.
so much going on around us, like we ain't even pay attention to.
Yes, yes.
And from that point on, like she just been hooked to me ever since. She
Oh,
just been hooked to me ever since. And well, we've been hooked to each other. I ain't gonna say she been hooked. We've been hooked to each other ever since.
I get it.
Yeah, even down like even down to the church that I attend right now. That was the church that she was going to, and I always wanted to visit it. And once I visited, I was there. I ain't go nowhere else. So we go to church together. We prayed together. We was looking at our first date. We went to Fridays, and we probably didn't even order food for about 2 hours because we were sitting there talking. But before that,
That's
we sat in the car and watched. I think it was a Bible study or one of them. It was like a couples thing, and we wasn't even a couple yet, but we sitting there watching some couple series,
even better.
and so it just grew from there. So I knew that was it. That was the person. She was my one.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, when did you know that she was your person? That she was that one?
Oh, I knew that after I knew that the first day for real, but after that first date, and the waitress kept coming over and was like, "Yeah, we ain't ready yet. We still talking." And yeah, I knew that. I was like, "Yeah, she the one. Like God sent her my way." Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And that was at a point in my life where I was really rebuilding, and I was in a tough spot. I had moved back home with my mom and everything, and I was just like with my parents, and that was a struggle because I was like, "Yo, I'm in my 30s. I done moved back with my parents. Ain't no woman. I ain't gonna be able to get no woman like this." And lo and behold, it happened.
she was there. She was there.
It happened. Yeah.
So when you said the process of rebuilding, and you mentioned about, you felt like you weren't in the capacity to be in a sustainable relationship. So can you kind of give us like what was her role? Like how was she a part of your rebuilding process? What was her role, and what part did she play in your process of rebuilding?
Oh, she was the push. She encouraged me to just all the things that I wanted to do. Like she encouraged it. Like so we now have a nonprofit organization for youth. And it was always an idea in my head. And I would talk to her about it and tell her. And she was the push to be like, "Yo, let's make it happen." And she birthed that for me,
Can,
for us.
can you talk
And
about that in the organization, please?
it's called Live Accoy, Live Against Killing Our Youth.
Mm.
Yeah. So right now we're in the stages where we do seasonal stuff right now. One of the things for me, it was just like because I deal with youth at work, I didn't want it to be a conflict of interest, So we do things now such as like Thanksgiving drives where we go out and give out Thanksgiving dinners to families. Like we go grocery shopping for them. Coat drives, drop them off at the homeless shelters, babies' clothes, all them different type of things. So that's what we do right now, but it's more geared to, just exposing our youth to something different, exposing them to a better life and something different than the things that's around them. Because through my career, I've had the blessing of meeting a lot of people that I feel like, if they just saw some of these people that you would normally see on TV, and I'm able to bring them to you, or I take you to them and you're able to see they came from the same background that you came from, but they was able to achieve this, or they the same people that you won't see on TV talking or playing sports, and they was able to achieve this. Like just that whole portion. That's one of the main goals and objectives of the nonprofit is to plant seeds.
Awesome. Awesome. And speaking of planting seeds, I know you're a father as well. Yeah.
Yep.
And how many
Yep.
children?
3.
3 children. What are their ages?
I have an 18-year-old, I have a 2-year-old, and I have a 1-year-old.
Oh goodness! Wow.
No. I know. But
Wow. You starting all the way over.
Started over.
Wow, that is, oh my gosh. And then I know, like, how does your journey, as far as your career and your position as a minister, officer, mentor, I know that really molded you, as far as being a father. So what is your approach towards parenting,
Mhm.
a combination between the journey, like I mentioned, and also your interaction with your parents? I know you mentioned that, once the roles reversed, then you understood,
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
How do you equate that into your parenting style?
Yeah. So I was a little tough. I was a little tough on my oldest. I was a little tough on her.
What's of course.
Um, and so she's 18. She's in college now. So I was a little tough on her. Um, but I kind of had to soften up because these kids nowadays are a little different. The way they grow, the way it's like
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
like the way we grew up and the stuff we went through. Like if you put them through it, is mental health and da da da. And
Right, right.
so it's like so I am learning. So through my oldest, I'm still learning I'm bringing out more of a softer side of myself because, like I
Okay.
said, I was always aggressive. I was always, and a lot of that came because I had to just evaluate myself. That's what I'm starting to learn how to do even more is evaluate myself. When I say that, meaning I know what I think I am. I know who I see myself as. Um, but when you go and you ask people that you love, your loved ones, the people that you trust, like, how do you see me?
Mm.
And you hear some of the answers and they be like, yo, that's so off from what I thought. Like I thought I was the easiest person in the world to talk to. But my daughter told me, yeah, it's a little hard to talk to you.
Mm. Well, she's gonna have a different perspective as your daughter. Yeah, it's gonna be different.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, so as my pastor say, you want to always be able to be on your child's boardroom. Like through life, you are the director. You tell them what to do, but when they become of age, you want to always be on their boardroom. So that means you always want to be someone that they can come and talk to.
That safe space. Mhm.
So uh that's one of the things. Like I think I learned a lot through my 18-year-old.
Yes.
That's going to
Mm.
change and affect the way that I raise the younger ones. I'm more after hearing things. I've heard some words like aggressive, intimidating, not to be played with, and so I'm realizing, you know what, I got to soften that up. Like and to me, I think I'm goofy, I'm funny, I'm the easiest to talk to.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I said, yeah, I gotta, if that's what I see myself as, I gotta show that more.
But I'm glad you
Gotta,
worked on that.
yeah,
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 and I commend you for actually acknowledging that and you putting in the work.
yeah,
Because some parents, especially some adults, some parents, it's hard to get through. Because I have conversations about this when it comes to parents and accountability. They think they're exempt from that. So I'm just glad
oh,
that
yeah,
you work to understand where that child is coming from. Because I try to, because I'm a parent myself. I have my child is an adult now, but I try to instill a level of respect, but also understanding the idea of expressing himself. That I was not one of those parents that would always make the adult always all right all the time, because they're not always right.
mhm,
Like because I remember growing up, all the adult have this, an adult could lie on the child and use them as a scapegoat, and it was easy to get in trouble because they always took the adult side. But I wasn't that type of parent. So my point is that um, we have to allow our children to hold us accountable.
and
You
see,
know.
and that's what I wasn't doing at first. At first, it was like because I said so. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yes.
Like I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. I said do this,
Hmm.
and so
I had to learn to allow her to be able to express herself in a respectful way.
Right.
Respectful way. Like even down to if you felt I was wrong about something, we can discuss it as long as it's in a respectful way. Don't tell me you was doing too much. Nah.
Yeah. So given because like I said, it was we was able to pack so much, and like I said, I do appreciate your candidness when it comes to that. So I want you to get more into going back into the church and how your role as father, minister, officer, all of those things combined. How is it received in all these different avenues? Like, how are you received in the church? How are you received within the community? How is it received within your family dynamic at home? How is that received? I know it's a lot, but I'm just want to get different elements here. And can you keep? Yeah, I'm still listening, but
I got you. Yeah, I've been, I think in all areas, I've been seen as a leader. And even when I don't want that title, or even when I don't want to go down that road, that's what it always ends up boiling down to and ends up happening. I'm seen as a leader in all areas. In church, I lead different ministries. I lead, the morning huddles sometimes. As a police officer, I lead my groups in mentorship. As a father, I'm a leader at home. Like I lead my family. What was the other one? You said, yeah, but that's I think I'm seen as a leader, and I mean I'm a good guy. I think people see me as a good guy. People see as even though I can come across as aggressive sometimes. They see me as a good guy. They see my heart. Like I'm fair. I'm fair.
Yeah, you covered everything. Yeah, I think you covered everything. I know you was asking, what other thing I was saying, but I think you covered everything, and I thank you for that. So with that being said, Jeff, I want to have a little bit of fun with you because remember I told you I was going. I told you I was going to save some of this stuff. So there's a couple of things I want to do. I want you to get your preacher voice ready. Because I'm going to have you minister, but it's going to be a bit of a unique type of ministry. So I'm going to revisit that. But for now, I want us to do just a little bit of this or that. All right.
This or that. Gotcha.
Here they come, yo. Here they come.
All right. This or that. So I come up with random stuff, just, and you can't plead the fifth. You can't choose both. It's only one or the other. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Don't, it's not going to be too bad. All right. So, all right. So, Dietrich Haddon or Byron Cage?
Dietrich Haddon.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you listen, but Joel Osteen or T.D. Jakes. I know that I'm being messy right now, but
TD.
Okay. All righty. Dave Chappelle or Eddie Murphy?
I'm gonna go with Eddie.
Mentorship or law enforcement?
Oh, mentorship.
Okay, I figured you say that. Okay. Here go. Sardines or pork and beans?
Pork and beans. Pork and beans.
I was sitting on that one.
I want no parts of sardines, and pork. I want no parts of them sardines.
Home ownership or renting?
Oh, ownership.
Okay, and I'm gonna go back a little bit. I'm gonna go back a little bit, because I know so as far as music goes, just take a little bit back. Okay. I'm gonna get you on this one. Okay. De La Soul or Far Side?
De La Soul.
Wait, did you see the NPR?
I didn't. I need to check it out.
You better go ahead, DC. You better do that.
I need to check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, get it. All right. And so, Joe or Eric Benet?
Eric Benet.
Okay. And so you said that real quick. All right. So, I'm going back to food again. Burgers or hot dogs?
Yeah, burgers. Don't want no glizzies.
You said you want what?
Don't want no glizzies. Hot dogs. I mean, don't want no glizzies. Burgers.
That's what you call glizzies. That's what you call it. Oh, I never heard of that term before.
Yeah, that's what it's called. They call it glizzies.
Vegas or New Orleans? Have you been to?
I never been to New Orleans, so I say New Orleans. I want to go.
Yes, go. I'm doing a trip. I don't know if you saw my flyer, but I'm doing a trip in October. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely got to go. All right. So let me see, because that's going to be hard because I don't know where you travel to. So I can't. So I'm
no, even if I ain't been there, I'll tell you where I want to go.
Yeah, but but it's hard because you haven't been there, so you can't choose if you haven't been there. So
okay, got you.
Yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose. Okay, so I want to make this last one count. So let me Albertina Walker or Shirley Caesar?
Shirley.
All right. So yeah, you played well. Good job, right there. Yeah, that was, I think that was pretty fun. I wanted to make sure that I made it count. So this next one, since you talk about men, and I always want to try to use this segment as often as I can, especially when I have someone of the faith. So this is what I call preach it how you read it. Yes. Now I'm going to, put up different things, and you'll give me time to write each one. So, and I want you to minister, or you don't have to do if you don't have to. I mean, you don't have to do, but do it in your own way, your own style, your true authentic self. Okay.
Okay.
I love when they're nervous. I love it.
Using the bathroom with
Preach, Pastor.
Using the bathroom. Well, let me tell you what's a little dirty. Your hands, if you use the bathroom without washing them. Mm-hmm. See, that's how we get all types of bacteria. You go out and you're shaking people's hands. Right. You're infesting people. That's what you're doing. That's just nasty. Don't do that. All right?
Yeah.
Wash them hands. Use the soap.
Right.
The soap is the oil.
Okay.
Your nose and licking your fingers. Oh my God. We're gonna just call you Booger. Because we saw you over there, you digged up your nose and you put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just nasty.
It's nasty. That I'm gonna call you Booger from now on. All right, Deacon Booger. Deacon Booger, don't do that no more, Deacon. I'm gonna have to kick you up off the deacon board now.
Remember that song? Hey Mom, what's for dinner? Pick up your nose and pick a winner. Late great Biz Marquis. You remember that one?
I don't remember. That's crazy. I like Biz Marquis.
Oh wow. Yeah, you gotta look that up. Look it up on your
spouse hogging the See, now I go through this sometimes at night.
I'm sure you do.
I lay down and I got me a nice healthy portion of the cover and it's all over me. And I'm nice and warm.
Right.
You know, I feel a chill.
Mm-hmm.
Feel a little chill on my arm.
Yes.
I'll be like, what just happened?
Mm.
The next thing you know, I feel a little chill on my shoulder. And the cover just seems to be slipping from out of my hands. And I reach for it and I reach for it. And when I'm grabbing, I feel a tug and I feel a pull. And when I look to the left of me, I see my wife rolling over and the cover got her wrapped up like a pig in a blanket.
Right. Yeah, she all wrapped up, right? All wrapped up.
And I'm sitting there like a glizzy with no bun. Just naked, nothing. Glizzy with no bun.
All right, so this is last one right here. Let me see how you're gonna work this one.
Kids throwing valuables in the toilet just for fun. I tell you about this young boy that I know. We call him Baby J. See what Baby J will do here. He'll find something on the ground. He'll pick it up. And, he'll go walk away. And you think he just going to play with the toy. You think it's just innocent.
Mm-hmm.
You might be scrolling on your phone. Next thing you know, he's a little missing.
Swish, swish.
So you get up. You go, Baby J. And you hear a little splash, splash, splash. And you're like, I know that's not him in the bathroom. And you hear some more splash, splash, splash.
Right.
And then you go to the bathroom and you open the door.
Mm-hmm.
And Baby J done threw the toy in the toilet.
What?
Oh, my God.
Mm.
And you just got to call on the name of Jesus because now you got to pick that toy up out the toilet. You got to wash the toy off. And then you don't want to have the dirty hands. So you got to wash your hands with the soap.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to wash his hands because you don't want him to grab no boogers from up his nose. Then you got to dry them off because if you put them in the bed with my wife, she going to take the covers.
Right. I mean, it's just
the whole thing over here.
It's a whole lot on you, huh? It's a whole lot on you, Pastor.
So just pray for us. Pray for us, church family. I just pray for us. There's a whole lot going on over here.
Pray his strength, Lord. Pray his strength, Lord. All right. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Now, if you like this right here, I just need you to push that button right there. Please. That's all I need you to do. We ain't asking for no money. Mm-mm. We ain't asking for no offerings for this right here. Mm-mm. All we asking for is a like, a share, and a comment. That goes a long way. It really does. Thank you. 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 Yes. Love it. I love it. Yes. Yeah, yes, you played that. You played that. You killed it. You killed it, Mom. Yes, I love it. Yeah, so these are the final two questions that I love to ask before we wrap up, Jeff. And I want to thank you so much for your time here tonight. No problem. No problem. And so one question I want to ask you, and I enjoy the answers I receive. If you had the opportunity to have five people at the senior table, dead or alive, who would they be and why? And I need the why for each person, dead or alive. 5 people at your table, dead or alive. First one would be my mom. Sit her at the table and I just to say how you doing, just to hear her voice and talk to her again, have a conversation. That'll be the first person. Second person would be Denzel. And I say that because I would just want to pick his brain. I would just want to, just have a good conversation on his journey and how he breaks down scripts and where does it come from? Like when he deliver that character, where does it come from? That's 2. He's not a person, but I would say God, because I want, give me wisdom, give me knowledge, give me
the insight on my life. Like, where is this going? Like, with this path that you have me on, I want to know, where is it going? Tell me, where is it going? Let me see. The fourth person, my wife, because that's my partner. That's my partner. So she with me everywhere I go. That's my partner. So that's number 4. Number 5. Who's the fifth person? Fifth person. Well, I'm gonna say all my kids. So we gonna go over. I can't put all 3 of them at the table.
Sorry, no.
The fifth person. My younger self.
Oh.
So I can mentor him.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. Okay. Yes, I love those answers. And I hope, I wish I could be that fly on that wall. Now, who would get the big piece of chicken and why?
I would get the big piece of chicken.
Because
it's my table.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. Now this question I take from the late James Lipton from Inside the Actor Studio. So, Jeff Stewart Jr., when you enter into the pearly gates, what would you want God to say?
Great job, son. You have accomplished all that I have had for you.
Amen. And I commend you for the great job here. And I do, like I said, I do appreciate you blessing us with your presence and you making the time to do so. I do appreciate that. And I know you was a little leery at first, but what made you decide on this? What made you decide to make that final decision to come on the platform?
I always pray about it.
Okay.
I always pray about it. And I said, okay, I watched some of your content, some of your videos, and I said, you know what? All right, cool. I'll do it. Let's rock. Let's rock.
Yeah, I'm glad you made the decision to do it. Yeah, because I said I leave a safe space, and I'm always one to make sure that people understand my intentions on my platform, and I want to always be as dignified as possible. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of mess here and there, but overall, it's going to be led with integrity. So I'm glad that you decided to make it, and I hope this won't be your first time on the platform, because I'm really trying to in the near future, I'm really trying to set up panel discussions and just kind of do that type of thing. So I really want you to be on the lookout for my invite on those type of conversations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anytime. You got me now. Anytime.
Yeah, good. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So I really want to make sure that, because you are the type of person I definitely need to connect to, just in, you being who you are in itself, and, what you have going on. I definitely need you to, to be within my circle. So I do appreciate you coming on. So ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Stewart Jr. Thank you so much. Salute. Yes. So I hope that you were able to experience the presence of what they say, Black excellence, because I think you've already seen that, and just a Black man just actually putting in the work and putting in the effort all these years to build the community, build a foundation for our youth to be able to aspire, to aspire and to be inspired by. So I really am grateful for him to actually take the time to come on my little piece of platform and to share such knowledge and wisdom when it comes to how we able to bridge the gap between the community and law enforcement, how we're able to bridge the gap when it comes to church hurt, or try to add some assurance when it comes to your spiritual walk and stepping out on faith and all, pun intended, all those things. So I'm really, really am so pleased that he decided to come, and he'll be able to be a friend to the show moving forward. And so I just want you to just be mindful of when you are being discouraged, or when you just are so disheartened about what's going on in the world today, and you're so disheartened and you're so discouraged. Just please just look at these type of interviews and these type of interactions of people that that been through, and are continuing to remain steadfast in their journey. And hopefully that will add a little bit more motivation, and allow that to order your steps. So I hope that, you're able to receive something from this tonight. Please make sure that you check out my interview that's coming up this coming Saturday with Theo E.J. Wilson. He's a TED Talk speaker, motivational speaker, poet, all the things. So I hope that you're able to make that live as well. So in the meantime, have a good